Today we'll be reviewing RetnaSkan's new record. It's called The Curse of the Emerald Tablets. It's coming up right here on Moonshine and Music Review. This is Moonshine and Music with Joe Shelton. Wait a minute, that's me. Anyway, we're going to bring you some inspiring songwriters, musicians, and maybe some side challenges and other stuff around the music industry. So stick with us right now, because the show is coming your way. Woo! Moonshine and Music starts right now. Welcome to Moonshine and Music Review. Today we're going to be reviewing RetnaSkan. The album is called The Curse of the Emerald Tablets, which I think is awesome. We got Brent Schlemmer and Brent Lee Smith, and Bailey Shelton on board. Bailey, what's going on behind you? There's some crazy stuff in your background today.
Yeah, so I was having some trouble getting on the Zoom. It made me re-download Zoom for some reason. And so in the meantime, I downloaded this meme of, it's of Eric Andre. And it's, he's like out front of, I think it's the White House, and he's like shaking the gates and like, let me in. So that was my choice of Zoom background today.
And she's eating a pear.
I am.
Brent Lee Smith, what are you up to today?
Well, I got up, was going to do some stuff, and my body said, you're tired, go back to sleep. So I went back to sleep, then I got up, and now we're doing this.
So a challenging day for you. Like you.
Yeah. Yeah, it's weird. I don't know. It's the last while, like once I'm up like 90 minutes, my body seems to think that's already a fairly full day. But hopefully I'll be able to be productive around the house after we do this, and I'm excited for this. Like when you send the link for it, I was like, oh, what's this going to be? And then now I know, I guess.
and
talk about it.
Brent Schlemmer, the king of B&B TV, is here, and in between editing and filming sessions.
Yep. And I sold, and I'm still working on the sales team thing for Books and Brews. So my morning was all distribution and whatnot, and my afternoon was all interviews and editing. So split it up. I'll do it all. I don't care.
Well, let's talk about this LP, and I'm going to go ahead and play the first track. I mean, I guess we can talk about this band a little bit before we do that. It's an interesting creation from Sietch Ramshackle. I think it's kind of his side project that he's got going on. He seems to be a man of 1,000 side projects, and Stephen Darbro is on this. I know, playing some drums, and he is the drummer for Midwest Contraband on the Normal.
Oh, yeah.
And then there's a vocalist as well.
Kind of.
There's a vocalist called Jaxty, and I'm not sure who that is.
Yeah.
It's an interesting little project. And there's some interesting videos out there of it of the songs that you can find on the internet.
Oh, I didn't see the videos. I just heard the music.
You know, it seems to me that what I caught from this is that RetnaSkan has already done stuff by himself. That's like his, moniker for it. So it's not really the band name as much as it's like that producer guy. And I think he got a hold of Sietch and said, "Hey, do you want to play guitar on this weird thing I'm doing?"
Okay. Well,
I don't think it's. I think somebody pulled Sietch into this as opposed to the other way around, which is usually how he rolls.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay. Well, see, that clears it up. I haven't even talked to Sietch about this because I wanted to be free and clean when we did the review.
Sure.
I know that Sietch has volunteered to come on and do a review with us, so we're going to try to get him in here soon to do one of these.
Oh, that'd be fun.
Which I think will make it interesting.
Yeah.
We can make something that's totally non-Sietch when we do that, right?
Right.
Yeah. I like the RetnaSkan thing, like just the name. Like I had my RetnaSkan this week too, so it's kind of apropos, I guess.
So what did you learn from your RetnaSkan?
Oh, that my peepers are the same sort of bad. I thought they were maybe getting a little worse. I'm just getting old, so that's why my vision's changed a little bit. So, yay!
You're getting old. Well,
So am I.
Hush, I got many years on you.
It's funny because I'm the youngest.
all right, so let's play this first track. It's called The Hero. You can find this album, The Curse of the Emerald Tablets, on Bandcamp. So here's the first song. Okay, so there's a little bit of the sound of the first tune on there. Who wants to jump in first with their thoughts on The Hero?
I'll go, I guess. Like I didn't know what this was like when I got it, when you sent me the link, and then like I saw on the page like how all those songs were short. I was like, okay. And then like reading the little blurb about it, talking about vocals and this and that, and then never hear any vocals. But it's cool. Like I want to go see the videos of it now to see how they match up for what was in my head. The whole thing was just like sounded like a movie soundtrack, and just, different parts of it, and like I thought they were all pretty fitting for how each song was titled for like a different kind of scene or whatever. And like with the first one, The Hero, I thought it was a pretty good intro to the project or whatever. Like everything kind of fit, and here's the hero being introduced to everybody.
When I started hearing this, it kind of like you, it's like super cinematic, but honestly what it reminded me of immediately was like 2D side scroller video game soundtracks.
Yeah,
you know?
That's what I said when I heard this the first time too. I think I even said that to Sietch. I was like, that's really cool. When does the actual video game come out?
Yeah. Yeah, especially like the name of it is like a total video game title. So I was looking forward to that. I was like, okay, so it's like there's like it's kind of like a Proto-Men deal, It's like a rock opera type, like the album tells the story or whatever. That was what I was looking at.
I like the way. Now I don't know if this is an actual genre or if they coined this, but cinematica. Yeah. I was like, that's perfect description. Whether like I said, I try not to pay much attention to the like subgenres of everything.
Mm-hmm.
But
cinematica sounds like it's like an old machine. Like you're going, we're going down to the Cinematica to get our pictures.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, I can dig it.
I mean, my initial thought in hearing it is a little different because I the first time through listening to it, I kept waiting and waiting and waiting for somebody to start singing.
Yeah.
And which is definitely on me, not on the artists at all. It's on my complete closed-minded, horrific view of it that like, oh God, everything has to have vocals. And then
instrumental songs matter, Joe.
Yeah, and as soon as I got over that, being a singer, songwriter, and my own narcissism, I went back and listened to it a second time, and I the guitar parts throughout this album. I mean, but on this first song, I really, really, really love the swirling guitar tones that are going on, and just want to see him actually play that stuff live so I can figure out what he's doing. Like
yeah,
to make those tones come out. Like
I'm not a guitarist, but it sounds great, and it does sound complicated.
Yeah, everything sounds complicated. Let's go on to the next track here, and bloop, share the screen so we can hear it. It's called The Love Interest. So I want to give my first impression of this one is that the best thing in this, the thing that really makes me excited, is to hear those chimes get dragged across, because like my aunt used to have this set of those chimes on her porch, and I simply could not walk past them without dragging my fingers across them and making them go ring. And that comes sparkling in there, and I was just like, okay, love that. I like when when's it going to happen
Your
again?
aunt is the love interest in question.
What's that?
Plot twist, your aunt is the love interest in question.
Let's hope not. Let's
I don't know. Having Sietch as your uncle has.
Has, you know, it has its benefits.
Yeah.
okay.
If you want to call it
It would
that,
be a cool uncle.
If you want to call it that. He would be a cool uncle.
probably.
Yeah.
Probably.
I
Probably.
think I could totally see. My impression of this is that, you know, this is a full channeling of Frank Zappa. Like, there's, if you listen to like the kind of created Zappa albums, like Civilization Phase 3, where it's not really musicians, you know, playing arrangements as much as there's stuff going on that's there. A lot of it's just there for the, you know, I don't want to say shock value, but just for the impact of that particular sound. Like you said, you know, just a little wind chime, you know, with that real throaty guitar part going on. And like all of that really felt like, you know, a Zappa kind of like modern version. You know, Frank's been dead for 30 years. He, at the end of his life, you know, he was just starting to kind of tap into the technology, you know, and it makes you wonder, like, because he's always been on that was always on the front edge of technology. You know, I can just imagine what he would be doing right now with what's available.
Yeah.
You know, he was probably one of the first guys to do all digital recordings and things like that. So to have access to just like the level of production, I mean, let's face it, these guys made this album in a bedroom.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah,
and it's probably higher tech than anything Zappa ever did.
it's kind of wild, all the production elements that are in there, considering like knowing that they did this during the quarantine where people couldn't get together, you know?
Yeah, they just sent the tracks off and put your part on, man.
Yeah. I don't know, the whole vibe I get from the whole thing is, you know, kind of going with like the video game thing we talked about, is it's kind of like a Hong Kong martial arts movie. And just, you know, going through, you know, we already had the hero, introducing the hero. Now we got the love interest. Something's probably going to happen to her. Send the hero on a quest to get her back. You know, and as, you know, just looking at the song titles as we come up, it's like, all right. Like, I had to listen to it a few times. Like you, I was waiting for you know, some vocals, and then after like the fourth song, I'm like, well, I guess there aren't any. And you know, then just kind of, you know, retook it in too, and.
Well, I do think on that last song, there's a vocal going on, but the vocal isn't like an out front vocal. It's like got some kind of effect on,
Yeah,
a voice effect that's happening.
and just a thing like in the background, just,
Not an actual
here's a woman.
lyrical vocal,
Yeah,
you know?
Right, it's another keyboard part almost.
Yeah, you're right. Like it's a synthesizer.
It's another keyboard layer. It's just somebody doing it with their mouth instead.
yeah. Like I changed the speakers on my computer. I got speakers plugged in, and then I got speakers that are just on my monitor, and I switched them around just to make sure I wasn't missing something. I'm like, okay, nope, that's just the song.
See these? They're not called ivories for nothing. I thought my thought with this song is completely, I feel like this is completely different, but it reminds me a lot of the like modern R&B vibes that I listen to, which I found really interesting because it's like the only song on the album that really reminds me of that. So that kind of like that smooth, I don't even know what instrument we're talking about, maybe guitar, is like super like soul R&B vibes, very Liana Las Havas, La Havas, yeah. That's what it reminded me of the most, which if you're going to have a love interest, I feel like something that completely like contrasts the hero in a like feminine way would be like a like a sexual or like sensual, like jazzy R&B figure. So I liked it.
Yeah. Like my one criticism, and it's more for the like potential fictional lady that this is about. If the song didn't last longer, I felt bad for her.
Wow, you could only last 2 minutes, huh? All right.
Yeah, well, you know, he is a hero. He's busy, I guess.
All right. Now we're going to go to the secret passage. What do you think?
Hi, Indiana Jones. Nice to see you.
Yeah. At first, it sounds kind of like the tuning song, and then, this kind of sounds all right. Let's do more with this.
I kind of was feeling that this one had a definite, like, this could definitely be a level on Mario Brothers 8 or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, it's like ding, 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 but it's not. You know, it's a different melody.
Yeah. He goes down one of the
like a dungeon level for this.
Yeah, he goes down one of the tube things, and he's in,
Yeah,
like the crazy line or whatever.
down in the underground. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the secret passage, that's where he goes to.
There was even a repeating sound where I was like, "Oh, look, a new enemy has appeared." Like, all right.
Yeah.
Right, this one seemed to be the most so far to be the most like scenic music, you know, under the dialogue as something's happening, you know, on screen. You know, yeah, that, like I said, the cinematica like designation of this is dead on.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if somebody's wanting to make an independent film, they should totally look this album up.
Yes.
Think it over, you know.
Yeah, like after listening to it, I've tried to look up, see if maybe like this was a soundtrack and not just a project. And I was a little disappointed it wasn't. So,
have you guys heard of Undertale? It really reminds me of like the Undertale music. Okay, it's a video game that's like, it's newer, but it very much plays off of like the side scroller style and that. Yeah. Y'all ain't hip.
That's true. We're totally lacking our hip today. All right.
It's gonna be hard to walk.
This next one's kind of like, it feels like the title track, the Emerald Tablets.
yeah.
We've taken the hero and the love interest, and we've gone down the secret passage, and we finally found the Emerald tablets.
Habits.
I keep waiting for this one to kick in with Flash. Ah.
I like how every sound seems to have like a purpose, like to tell the story, like more specifically than of course you're playing it, to convey something, but just like every little thing is another element of this universe or whatever, this story.
I think it's really good storytelling without the vocals to tell the story or the lyrics to tell that story.
Yeah. Like a silent movie track that's like played to the movie but without the movie.
Yeah, I mean, it's a total skill that's going on here. That's that should not be played lightly. Even though we're comparing it to things that we would see in video games and things. Those kinds of music pieces are what carry those stories along inside those games. And this is doing it all without the help of any kind of visual as you're listening to it. I mean, they do have some videos out with some visual things going on, but this is definitely a really well told story.
Yeah, it's like the symphonies, they're telling stories, whatever. Like I'm trying to think of the one, like Peter and the Wolf. I forget who did that one.
Oh, right. Prokofiev.
Yeah. Something like that. It's especially like hearing with, even if like the song titles help give some context, but even like without them, just listening to them in order and just kind of seeing what it builds to, and there's stuff going on. It's real cool. Like I'm digging it.
Like I said, I really dig. I mean, this particular one makes me wonder, like, if they put this together, like kind of in that virtual way, where it was just like, here's the tracks, play off of this.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what started that? Like, what did like, I'm gonna go by the assumption that RetnaSkan sent Sietch some bed tracks, and he said, here, just play over this. And that's how it kind of got going. And then the vocal thing kind of happened later. So it's kind of like, okay, here's the main production and all the bed tracks and things. I want guitar on this. So he sent them off. Like, but listening to the beginning of that, it really it just has that one kind of bop, bop, there's just that keyboard pad going. And then all of a sudden Sietch is playing over that in what feels like a rhythmic way, but there's really no rhythm. And there's only the one chord happening, and he's making this decision of like, well, I'm going to use that flat set. That one thing jumps out at me in that little intro piece there that you played. It's like, oh, he decided there was going to be the flat 7 instead of, like he made some musical decisions that probably changed the direction of what happened later, like changed how, maybe how it was mixed or whatever, like maybe like I said, I have no idea how that came down the line to him. Like, what did he get to play over? If you listen to the beginning of that, there's not much going on. It's like, bop, 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 bop. That's it. And then here comes this, changed up guitar part. Like, how did he do that? That's impressive to me. Where it's like, oh, that's really cool. I'd like to hear, like, what kind of instructional guidance he was given. I'm guessing probably not much. Like, here's the tracks, do what you want to do.
I no idea. We'll ask him when we
right.
We'll interview him a little while he's getting ready to do the music review for the next.
Well, maybe we can get him to do a reaction video to this video.
Maybe. Yeah.
That would be hilarious. That would be great. It's like, oh, screw you guys. I don't know what you're talking about. You'd be seeing him like this half the time.
Yeah.
It'd be cool though. I would watch that.
I think the thing with me with this sort of thing, I feel like we talked about before, like there are certain bands when you listen to an album you wish you could hear them live. I feel like with pretty much any time I hear Sietch play guitar, it's like there are very few people who I'm like, if you were band practicing in my house, I would be completely content with like hearing this in the background all the time. And I feel like for me, that band that I'm like, you can practice in my house at any time is like Sietch just on a guitar, like playing around, like just picking through whatever like arpeggiations he feels fit. And so that's the part that I really like about this album and I'm impressed by is like, I never really understand what's going on with that. And I don't feel like I need to.
Yeah.
Like he could just do his thing and I'm okay with it.
Yeah, I think Sietch would be interesting napping.
Yeah. It's like he's 3 rooms away, but there's an amp, so it's like whatever.
Yeah.
So we're going to go to the bad guy here. So, with every good story, we have to have a villain. gonna scrub ahead a little. Go like this. So I love that operatic vocal in there, along with the contrast of that, I mean, just really mean guitar underneath, right?
Mhm.
If we're talking about the bad guy, that really fits.
Yeah, I mean, this track in its entirety, like, even if you're only sort of listening to it, it kicks in and you're like, oh, it's a dungeon. You're like, oh God. The door like shuts behind you.
Yeah.
He rises from the ground in a fit of snakes and fog. Like, you're like, okay.
Yeah, definitely a formidable foe.
Yeah.
Like it leads up to it, kind of like, all right, something's about to happen, and then, oh, you got this giant thing, whatever, that you need to handle.
Yeah, it's like the reveal happens with this song.
You absolutely have to land on that thing's head 3 times, whatever it is.
And then a giant red ruby pops up in the middle of its forehead. You hit that 3 times.
Yeah.
After you've already hit him 6 times.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You're hitting 3 times in the right
Nintendo
spot.
game, definitely 3. They seem to be very consistent with that.
Rule of 3s.
Yeah.
And then there's a cut scene where they like swirl into the air and then explode. And then the princess drops down from the ceiling. But where's the emerald tablets? And that's what we find out.
All right. So the bad guy somehow gets into a car chase. I mean, I feel like that one there, I can instantly, because they made the car sound effects happens. It feels like, when you're playing a game and it's a shooter and suddenly they let you drive something. Not like Grand Theft Auto where you're always driving something, but like, a regular game playing along, and then suddenly a vehicle's actually you're allowed to get in it and drive it.
Yeah, you have to get in the car to get to the next level or something.
The car stereo is what you're hearing at that point.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
I think on this one, like, it kind of speeds up, but I think it's actually like a slow car chase, but there's just music in the car.
Mm-hmm.
And they're just actually being chased by Sietch's dog. What's his dog's name?
Mudge.
Yeah.
Mudge Ramshackle. He's in
Yeah,
the credits there.
he's getting chased by Smudge because he wants to help get the bad guy.
I had a thought. I forget what. So this couldn't have come up before, but I have a thing about songs that include car noises in that they always make me go like, what the hell's happening out there? Like, and I know we live on like a country road, like we live on a suburb off of a country road. So there's no way that someone could like Fast and Furious car squeal like that at the beginning of the song, but it happened. And I don't know why. I just immediately looked out the window. I was like, what the hell? What's going on?
Nothing.
Nothing.
Nothing at all.
Got me again.
Freaking RetnaSkan.
He's got a knife. I can't do anything.
We keep talking about Sietch, and I kind of want to touch on the fact that, he's really just kind of he was a side guy on this. Like all of this kind of creation comes from RetnaSkan. I don't know who this guy is. Girl, I mean, who knows? I don't know who this is.
So I know it's a dude because on their Facebook page they have it's like a It's like a comically photoshopped and edited video of the entire EP. And then also on the Bandcamp page, the profile photo is RetnaSkan holding a knife.
Okay.
And so I'm like, that must be him. I don't know who he is, but that's RetnaSkan.
He's got a real interesting approach, you know, to like, I mean, especially for this. Like I said, this is all I've heard. I haven't heard anything else by, you know, this. Maybe this is a one-off project. It didn't feel like it to me. It seemed like, oh, this is just another. He just wanted to do something while in quarantine and had been doing something. Like whether this is completely different than what RetnaSkan normally is, or if this is just, you know, like an extension where he brought in some other people just because he could.
Yeah.
You know, yeah. I guess we need to kind of listen to see what his regular production is.
Darbo is RetnaSkan because that's his picture on the top of the in there. I can tell it's him.
Okay.
Wow.
So like see up here on the top of the Facebook page.
Oh yeah.
That's definitely him, right?
Yeah.
What photos do we have of them? Like, you know, okay, so there's that cover photo. But I don't know what I haven't scanned. I'm RetnaSkanning the RetnaSkan page. Yeah, so like this thing here is like a video that should be watched.
Yeah, it's fun. The animations are really cool.
And Ramshackle, and it says RetnaSkan. So I think he's RetnaSkan, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So this is some really cool video work that happens. And the fight scene I think is the next track, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So let's check this out for that. Okay. So I'll back it up here, and
That's the whole Emerald Tablets video. Yeah, it's
Oh,
the
is
full.
it?
Yeah, it's a video of just fight scene. If you go on your, I guess it would be your right. It's the third video down.
Oh, let me click
On
on
the
the fight scene. Yeah. There we go.
My favorite one.
So if you're on the audio podcast, you need to go find their Facebook page. RetnaSkan is spelled RetnaSkan, and check that out. But what do you guys think of the fight scene?
I think that the video element to it adds a certain level of like intensely good comedy. Just like it adds a certain, like it's very intentionally like poorly done. I don't want to say that. It's like it's
well done, but
intentionally
it's like
you can see the seams of it, you know. It's like it looks like a patchwork or a collage.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
This is my favorite song just because there's like so much happening because it's a big fight or whatever. And I hadn't seen the video until just now, which just kind of brought that home a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I like how it's just kind of everywhere, but there's still something in there too. There's like all this confusion, but it's for a purpose.
Yeah, I think that the fight scene song, as I looked at the Bandcamp page, it says written by Sietch. So I think that it's the one that he completely wrote, according to the credits anyway. And it's a pretty outstanding piece of work there. I love the feeling of it, and a little bit of rage and a little bit of lighthearted rage, even the way that it kind of feels like it.
Silly rage.
Yeah, it's like it gets really mad, and then you're like laughing at yourself because you're so mad, and then you're
right.
Which is really the plot of Fight Club. So
sort of, yeah. So All right. The last track is a victory. Let's get
Someone
it.
must win.
I mean, of course, there has to be a victory. It has to be a happy ending, I think.
Well, maybe the bad guy won. That's still victory.
So when we do this, I feel like the very last piece here is kind of like if you're playing Mario Kart and they come out with the platform and the trophies, like
Mhm.
We'll say that, or if it's like a Tetris level, 200, and you get the fireworks.
right.
Right?
What was that, Brent?
I just said, yep,
Oh, yep.
yep.
Yep. Yep.
That was my response to the Tetris comment.
Brent's,
So,
Yep.
overall, I think we're all. I mean, I know I'm a total thumbs up. I think
oh, yeah.
it takes you to a whole different place, catapults you there. I mean, I think somewhere I read that it said, for your quarantine entertainment or the background while you're stuck at home during quarantine or something like that. And I totally
Totally
can see
agree.
that.
Yeah,
think-
like it's like the whole thing is like 15 minutes too, but it feels longer in a good way because like it has this big story arc that like is complete, and it's like cool but weird, and like, oh, all right, so if you're just doing something, got 15 minutes, listen to this. You got longer than 15 minutes, listen to it again.
All right. Put it on loop. Let it go.
I
Yeah,
think the real great part about this is I honestly constantly forget that there's like music without vocals that I could be listening to. And so oftentimes like I have real trouble reading something or like just working and listening to music because when I was in school, I had lots of like language classes. So it was like I couldn't really listen to music and focus on my homework at the same time. And now like, I do writing work or like talking based work, and it's like, okay, well, I need something that's purely background music. And I so often am like, oh wait, I could just put on like something like that and I could draw to it or copy edit to it, and I could not have the lyrics interfering with what I'm thinking. It could actually help like inspire. So I think I'm definitely going to turn this on when I have to, like I'm making a D&D character sheet later today, so I might do that. Turn it on for that. I think that's the most useful aspect of an album like this is you can do other things and take it as inspiration.
Fair.
I can dig it.
He goes, I can do it.
So what do you think, Mr. Schlemmer, overall?
I enjoy, I've been a fan, fan of like just instrumental music for years. I mean, it's kind of like in my background in music school and whatnot, but I do fall into that same thing as you, where it's like, I'm hearing a new local project. Your brain's like waiting for the vocals to start. And sometimes it takes you that minute to go, oh, this isn't like that. We're not here. And it does take a like a mental shift to kind of get into that spot where you can accept that as like, I'm going to pay attention to this in a different way than I do when I listen to singer-songwriter stuff or whatever. The singer-songwriter things tell their story in a very overt, here's the story way. And sometimes with all art, sometimes it's that impression that you get that is really the important part of it, and this is just literally that more, to me, instrumental music is that more pure art form, just because it isn't just telling you, here's what it's about.
Yeah, you have to work harder.
Everybody has their own little take on, what's this mean, and, and how does that make me feel? And those things are, part and parcel and the core element of any kind of art form. You know, it's one thing to just come right out and say it, even obliquely, you know, to talk about something by talking about something else. You know, your brain interprets that with the language skills you grew up with, you know. Mm-hmm. But when you see something or hear something, it triggers your brain to kind of just operate in a completely different way. Yeah. I've always enjoyed stuff like that, where it's like, when I was in college, one of the benefits of being, you know, in the music school was the fact that you could, you know, all those orchestral concerts and stuff like that, jazz concerts were free. You just, you know, we would go. I mean, I would go to concerts, you know, 4 or 5 nights out of the week because you could. It was like, hey, let's run down to the Music Arts Center and go see what's going on tonight. And it would be anything from, like, you know, the bottom orchestra to the top jazz band to the, you know, it'd just be one night of programming and that went on basically every night of the week. That's so, you know, like the nice thing is, like, you can make your own movie. You know, it's like they say, it's like reading a book. You know, it's just words, so you're missing the visuals and your brain's going to make those up. This is the opposite of that. No words, so your brain has to kind of reverse engineer that story into a language, you know. And yeah, I really dig when stuff does that. It's always been some of my favorite stuff, even though you wouldn't know that from ever having seen me play anywhere. You know, it's like, oh, you know, I'm not known as a instrumental guy because that's just where I'm at right now. But there was a time when it was like, oh no, we play. Sometimes the last real full kind of super band that I played in was back in the 90s. And, you know, it was the jam band scene. So that falls into that for me too, where it's like, we're going to take you on a little adventure through what we're going to improvise right now. So not only are you hearing something brand new, but we are too, and we're figuring it out as we go. You know, and that to me is always one of the most fun things to do, where, you know, like, take that roller coaster ride. And it's like, okay, we're going to start down here and we're going to build up to this point, and then we're going to taper up, you know, all those things that happen in a movie soundtrack. And yeah, I've always loved doing things like that and playing and listening to that kind of stuff too. So yeah, this falls right into my wheelhouse from 25 years ago.
Cool.
Like, at least Sietch had, you know, done other just instrumental projects, and so, like, I wasn't necessarily expecting words, and except like reading the little blurb that it gave credit for, like, cinematic vocals. I'm like, okay. So I kept waiting for him, and then after a couple songs, I'm like, all right, that's just a kind of little background thing.
Mm-hmm.
So, like,
yeah,
kind of double got me. Then I realized what was going on. I'm like, all right, cool.
Well, thanks for doing the review today. And, you know, we have this show coming up this week, and next week we're going to have another Moonshine Circle show. And that one's got a couple of 3 different performers, Joe Martin, Ricky, and Bobby Stevens from St. Louis. And
oh yeah,
the third name is escaping me at the moment, but he'll be in the promos later. But I appreciate you guys doing this, and get another album review out of the way. And look, in a couple of weeks, we'll be back with another review, and we'll have Sietch with us, and mix up the Zoom crew here that we've got going.
Yeah. There's no way that won't be fun.
No way that won't
right.
be fun. That's true. So anyway, thanks for doing it, guys. Appreciate it. Moonshine in Music is a presentation of Not Less Entertainment. Copyright 2020, all rights reserved. The producer for today's show was Joe Shelton. Our cameraman, grip, and stunt double was Brent Lee Smith. On cameras and all sorts of other things, Bailey Shelton. And our staff guru is Brent Schlemmer. Join us each Sunday for new episodes right here with Moonshine and Music.